Close the toilet.
Wanted was there for us, and all of a sudden you get removed, sometimes by force, by the RCMP or by an Indian agent, out of our family environment, and they brought us here. One time there was a doorknob, had a peephole for a key. I remember Saturdays I used to sit there, peek through that hole, see if my parents were here to come visit me. Many times the door opened and got black eyes because the doorknob hitting me.
Oh! Ernie remembers some children who couldn't wait for their parents and took matters into their own hands, running away, trying to find home. Never made it back to their families or to the school. Some children just disappeared. Jorge Barrera brings us that story from Kamloops.
Right.
Katie's grandma's sister, she just disappeared one day apparently.
Yes, sure.
Nope.
It
They
brings
said
me
she
back
died
to
of
the time
pneumonia.
in my life,
And she always said that
time when I lived in
like to
peace
say
and
it, but
comfort
she
and
thinks that
safety.
they killed her
I felt
and they beat her
protected
to
by my
death
family.
by accident probably,
And
and they just buried her somewhere. But she was like, if that was true, I would at least let
That
you
was
know where my
probably-
sister's buried.
the safest time in my life.
Barbara McNabb Larson still remembers the day it changed.
Remember when they came to get us from here? First year we went in a livestock truck.
What?
And the next year,
They came with an army truck. And they drove us back to the school in these trucks. And they unloaded us like we were just little animals.
she is one of thousands forced through the doors for nearly 80 years of Kamloops Residential School.
The first things they did was they took us down to our cleansing room where they cut off our hair. Then they defrost us. Then they scrubbed us down with disinfectant like we were these animals. Sorry.
The name of the institution is now known worldwide. Students always suspected children were buried here, and now they are reliving the horror.
For 3 days, I went into a depression. And a grief that I never knew I had.
No cross or stone and scarce information to mark who lies buried here. Catholic Order Sisters of St. Anne's taught at the school. At Kamloops Residential School, the threat of death hung in the air.
You better behave. Don't get out of line because there's the graveyard. And there's also the river
But Katie's grandma
that were given to us as little
said
tiny
they
children,
think that they beat
5, 6 years old.
But like she was a
Death was
2-year-old
really-
baby. Like she was a
We do know
2-year-old.
how some of these children died. Records from the 1930s were shared with us.
Oh, that's fun. She just loses track of the baby.
Yep.
And she never even got a death certificate.
It became one of my triggers later on after I left the residential school. You know, I'll tell you the truth. That years of residential school was like a blur. Suicide, a young man or a young boy hung himself in the bathroom. Still today they remember that. They still get nightmares about it. About the runaways, people jumping trains, people killed jumping a train, you know, free outside running away in the wintertime.
Florence Morgan, whose age is not noted, died from a viral infection. The Indian agent reported her body was returned home by truck. Some never. The girl's name was Mary Francois, age not noted, died in hospital from a blood clot in her brain. Her father, a chief of the Adams Lake Band, who only saw her after death, wrote a letter requesting when a child of the school is taken sick and requires hospital attention, that the parent be notified at once. This oral history fills a gap between the still incomplete record of the residential school era. Many records were pulled by the federal government, including from cameras. Funeral records destroyed. Indian agent
want?
reported. Student lists destroyed.
Those records
Never mind then.
highly valued in terms of being preserved from the recycling process.
No, people think my parents.
A historian who worked for the truth and reconciliation.
May not get why I don't fit a mold or understand.
Sagar, what are you looking at today?
Creating this show, this podcast with Crystal and seeing its wild success has been one of the greatest accomplishments of my life. And when I sit after the show and I see the millions of people that we're reaching on various platforms, or I see your messages or meet you guys on the street, I feel alive, knowing that there are actually a lot of people out there who want to watch the news and afterwards not want to kill your neighbor and gouge out your own eyes. But beyond the personal achievement, I also sometimes think about it this way. What we have built here together, you and us, is I really mean the audience who backed us all the way. It's something that people in media have been trying to do for a long time. Billions of dollars in venture capital have been thrown at companies who promise to be news for millennials. BuzzFeed, Mike.com, remember AM2DM on Twitter? All those cringy Facebook watch shows just a few years ago, they were all fake AstroTurf efforts and basically repackaging mainstream BS news and then trying to sell it to you as one of your own. Today, we actually had a great view of just how colossally stupid, naive, and ultimately weak the biggest players in the corporate media game are. It all starts with a column from the great Ben Smith of the New York Times, ironically enough. He blew the name off a company called Ozzy. Ozzy, Ozzy, I don't pronounce it, I don't care. Ozzy Media was in final stages to raise $40 million from Goldman Sachs. Now, during the fundraising call, they had a strange interaction who purported to be an executive at YouTube. They felt really strange. Contacted them about what they just met. They discovered they had no idea what they were talking about. The voice on the other end of the phone that they thought was a YouTube executive was not that at all. It was the COO of Ozzy Media trying to trick them. One of the most brazen, possibly illegal things I've ever heard. But where they revealed the tip of the iceberg was such an obviously fake media seduced some of the top levels of the entire media business. Smith reveals that Ozzy, founded by the aforementioned CEO named Steve Rao and COO and CEO Carlos Watson, formerly of Goldman Sachs and Mike.com, is a total fake. They sold the idea of a millennial media company in 2013. They raised their initial millions of dollars from Powell Jobs, Silicon Valley capitalist Ron Conway, as well as David Drummond. He was the chief legal officer of Google. Huge heavy hitters in the space. In 2014, they even raised money from Axel Springer. That's a huge media conglomerate in Germany that just bought Politico for $1 billion. They raised $35 million for Mark Lassery. He's a hedge fund manager. He's a co-owner of the Milwaukee Bucks. They raised money from the Ford Foundation, who wanted to support the black-owned media company, with a total valuation in April of 2020 at $150
I'll come back to it.
He's so
Need to take a break. Come back to it. Hmm. I kind of want that $1,000. Bless you, child. You okay? You go for a walk? What? Let me just finish this one though. GG. Dominoes? Potpourri. Ceiling light. No joke. Get the fuck out of here. Board games? Oh, and I see Lion King. They're in. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. What's the lunch? Okay, yes. Hmm? Read it. Fucking asshole! You're a dick.
I just walked here.
Yeah.
That's all I did. Very silently. Didn't even hear me, huh?
You're a dick.
So silent.
A what? What's a cutter saw? Driver? Hydraulic driver? What is that? No? What are these things? If you want, I could take it and do it with my parents. For free.
Clothes, I need them tomorrow.
For free.
3 days.
Fine.
Yeah, sure,
What?
To sure, yeah. Parents usually for free. It's never free. It's never free.
No, it's not. I also get fed money.
And so far, we gotta get that thing out of my truck. What you looking at?
I don't know what it's doing. Okay. I don't get it. What's the fuck? Buzz. Check phone network connectivity. What the fuck does that mean? 4.0. Don't fall off now. Don't fall awful. Okay, well, let's try to. Right. Mhm. It's better. Hmm. 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 Excellent.